Hi folks, Bill Davis, the Public Information Officer for Jackson County. And I'm here with Tabitha Ashe. You are the Tax Administrator for Jackson
Correct.
County. And we're here to talk about taxes.
Yes.
It's property tax season, property tax assessment season. Talk to me a little bit about the tax notices that people are getting in the mail right now as we speak and what those mean.
Okay. So what we recently sent is your 2025 reappraisal notices, and that's going to reflect what your new current assessment is. And we are currently on a 4-year reappraisal cycle. So our last reassessment was in 2021. So the new value is just showing that increase in the market over the 4-year period.
And the way you assess these values, you're doing this based on current sales and what's the process? It's a process you've used the same for years and years.
Yes. Yeah.
But what is that process?
Okay, so what we do is a process called mass appraisal. It's very similar to a fee appraisal, but instead of using 3 to 5 sales to determine a value, we look at all of the sales that occurred in that whole 4-year period to determine what each property's value is worth. So it's all based on what the property would sell for. 100% market value, that's what North Carolina law requires.
But if you get your tax notice and you see that your value of your home, let's say, is 50% higher. Let's say 4 years ago it was rated at $300,000 and now it's at, let's say, $450,000 or maybe $500,000. And you're going, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's too much of an increase. That's a big sticker shock to folks.
Correct.
Talk to me a little bit about that sticker shock and what that means to folks. I mean, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it has definitely been a sticker shock time. One of the main things we have to keep in mind is, again, North Carolina law requires 100% market value. There is no option for fractional assessments or increased caps or anything like that. It requires 100%. There's nothing that says, well, it might have went up 50%, but you can only go up 20. So we don't have that option here in North Carolina. So that's one of the big things. If you have some people who've been here a while, they may remember between 2004 and 2008, we also had a 50% overall increase. So this is not necessarily uncommon. It's just, it's a big shock, like you said, when you look at it and you see what that increase can be over a 4-year period.
You talked about in 2004 to 2008, the property tax value, the assessment value significantly went up like it is now. But that did not necessarily translate into that proportional, a high amount of a tax bill.
Correct.
The commissioners are now meeting and they will come up with their tax rate.
Correct.
Talk about that process and when they'll be finalized with that.
Okay, so all the commissioners and the town boards will start all their budget process, go through all of it. It takes several months to go through, try to determine what the county's needs are and all of those things. And then they will vote in mid to late June as to what the tax rates will be. And then we'll be able to know what their actual tax bill will be.
We don't know what the tax rate will be. It could go down.
Correct.
Based on that, which means that you're not going to, let's say your house increased value of 50%, but that not necessarily say that your tax rate, your tax bill will increase that amount.
Correct.
We don't know that at this point.
Correct.
So that will be determined in June, and then the notices will go out in August for the tax bills that will be due in January of next year. But there are a few exemptions that folks have, and that's age and disability. Talk a little bit about that.
Yep. So if you're currently receiving our homestead exemption program, that will be on the notice under the exempt amount. If you're not and you're 65 or older, 100% disabled, or 100% disabled veteran, we do have some options for homestead exemption. It's a statewide program. There are some income limitations on some of it, but if you feel like you may qualify, feel free to reach out to my office either in person or by phone or in any means and let us see if you qualify.
What if I don't fit in any of those categories and I feel as though that, hey, this tax notice, this is not correct. This is way too high. I know what sales are going for in my community. I know how much the home values are. Maybe I've done some of my own research, or I just don't feel like the numbers are correct.
Yes.
There is an appeals process.
Correct.
What do you want people to do then?
Okay. Well, first of all, we do welcome you doing your own research first if you're able to do that, because a lot of people have called us and then they went on to Zillow and Realtor and been like, okay, well, I don't like it, but I do see that, everybody's saying a similar amount. So I would welcome everyone to do that and try to determine and make sure that they are looking into that and looking at sales and getting comfortable with that first. But we'll be happy to take a look at. You just need to complete the form that's in the notice and either mail it or drop it by our office. You can also use the QR code or go online and do an online appeal as well. And we'll be happy to take another look at it. I mean, our goal is just to make sure that everyone is paying only their fair share, nothing more, nothing less.
And that tax appeal process is now for the next few weeks. It ends when?
Yes, March 5th.
March 5th. So get your tax appeals done by March 5th, and that's right here at the county administration building. And again, a number of ways you can do that. If you have any questions, you can call the office here.
Absolutely.
What's the main number here?
The main number is 586-7549.
And any questions, any concerns, that's what you're here for.
Correct.
Here to help
That's
folks
what we're here.
in that regard.
We'll happily explain the process to anybody. Yep.
Tabitha, we realize as people are getting these notices, again, we say the word sticker shock. We understand the concern.
Right.
We get it.
Yes.
This is one of those things required by law to do. We're trying to be good stewards of taxpayer dollars at the same time, informing the public of exactly what's going on.
Right.
And that's what you're here for.
Yes.
So.
Yep.
Thanks so much, folks. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you about this. Very tough subject, but one that needs to be addressed here because we know the concerns in the county.
Yep.
So look for those notices in the mail again. And if you have an appeal, have that done by March 5th.
Yes.
And the commissioners are meeting, and they will be determining the tax rate that will go out with the bills in about actually in August. The tax notices will go out of how much you actually owe.
Correct.
And then they'll be due in January.
Yep.
Again, though, that's part of the process here for the tax reappraisal season here in Jackson County. Thanks, folks.
Thank you.